Neha worked in marketing for a couple of years back in India before coming to Australia to study a Master of Business Administration and build a career in marketing. She managed to secure a nice marketing role at Laser Clinics, a beauty company with more than 200 clinics across Australia. And more recently, she's received an offer for a more national focused marketing role at a company called Zone Bowling. If you want to contact Neha after the interview, she's happy for you to reach out on LinkedIn.
Thanks for inviting me to do this podcast with you. I'm excited to be here. I did my MBA here and always wanted to move down under. Wanted to travel, meet new people, work with different cultures, and Australia is great with like a lot of immigrants.
How did you find the job search?
So it wasn't too easy that I was getting interviews straight off. It wasn't that hard that I was ready to give up. So I do feel like it required a lot of persistence. Also knowing how to actually sell yourself. You might have a lot of years of experience and you might still not have the confidence to like talk yourself up. So I feel like that's something I was lacking, which is what one of the main reasons as to why I was having a hard time landing my next role, because I felt like, oh, maybe like this job is just too complicated for me. Maybe I'm not experienced enough. And yeah, I think once I gained that confidence and once I had one or two interviews that went really well, I felt like, okay, so I do have the experience and I do have the right skills for this role, which really helped me boost my confidence.
As someone coming to Australia from overseas, looking to break into marketing, what's the most important thing to focus on?
I feel like joining a company that actually has a bit of inclusivity and diversity would really help and not make you feel alone, which really helped me feel more belong to the company. And I think that's one of the biggest motivations of someone staying as well. I feel like you need to be resilient. You're going to have a lot of things thrown at you, which you're not used to. I think just staying your ground and just keep pushing, honestly, is really important, especially if you have no family here. It can get very hard. And being resilient really, really helps.
Take me back to when you landed your first internship here in Australia.
So it was through a friend of mine. She wanted to move out of the role. So she was like, there's this role I'm doing. It's very like beginner level. I was like, that's fine. And that's how I landed the role. It was not advertised, definitely word of mouth. And yeah, I think a lot of jobs are like that here. So I had some networks in my first year. So yeah.
Did you put any specific plan into place to build those networks?
I was just having fun and I was like, okay, let me just try some volunteering because that's probably like an easier route to meeting people, join groups and university as well, because there's going to be some locals who know a lot more than you. So yeah, definitely just getting yourself involved in those groups and volunteering. I went to UTS and those groups are like really big. It would just make you feel less lonely as well, and also make sure that you meet more locals.
We've helped a lot of people go through this process in Australia, trying to get a job as an international student. And the number one thing people can do to improve their chances is just to meet people, meet as many people as you can, whether it's through some sort of group, coffee chats, networking at more formal events, volunteering.
If I like look back at my journey right now, I just realized that I was indirectly just networking naturally. Just putting yourself out there, it can be very hard. Yeah, networking is a huge part. No matter where you go, especially if you're new to the country.
When you're networking without knowing you're networking, that's the best.
It looks very natural. It doesn't look forced, because some people would network because you want to have a job. Now, that doesn't look natural. But then if you're networking just to know people, I feel like that comes out very natural and brings out your personality. Definitely need to have a mindset of just being open to things as well.
You also, I think, got a freelance role.
Yeah, so it was just a freelance role of copywriting. So I was working casually from home for a marketing agency. Copywriting is so important for marketing.
And how did you secure that job?
It was just a job ad that was posted on actually Gumtree, because I was just desperate to look for a job and I didn't want to go somewhere that's not my field. So I just wanted to stick to marketing. And I thought that, well, this looks like a great role. I didn't have experience in copywriting back then. So definitely appreciate the opportunity that was given.
In the last podcast I did the other day, someone got a job through Facebook, like a Facebook group, because there are these little groups, right? Once you start to find them, you get these weird, unique opportunities that can pop up. For people listening, it could be a smart idea. Instead of getting a part-time job at like Coles or Woolworths, or trying to find something that at least has some overlap with your field can be really cool, right? Because you're not only getting experience, but you're also doing the part-time job.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that it can be hard for someone who had no experience. My father pushed me into doing internships as an undergrad. That helped me get those bigger roles after I graduated. If you have a chance to land those internships in Australia or the part-time roles, it might not be something that you're like 100% into, but as long as it's in, for example, marketing, it would still help you really, because it's all about getting your feet wet, honestly, as fast, as early as you can, because it's competitive to get those full-time roles.
You're competing against all the people that have done the pre-work, right?
Exactly. It can be very overwhelming because you feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. There's a lot more students who are into like just getting experience.
There's a few cool ways you can get experience without necessarily, applying for a formal job or a formal internship, right? Like, for example, marketing is one of those unique areas where you could just start your own little marketing agency and go and start helping companies, right?
Yeah.
And help them with, getting them on. Say you find a cafe that doesn't have a Facebook account. You might go and help them get onto Facebook, start posting, and then maybe you start charging a very, very low amount. And, for me personally, with my business, I started helping people for free just to get off the ground. But once you get that experience, you can actually start charging money, and then you can potentially build a little business there or freelance.
Yeah, definitely. Freelance is a good way of just putting yourself out there because it's like the more different roles and the more different types of jobs you do, the more you feel confident about your position.
I've seen a lot of people just reach out to, say, a small company and say, hey, could I grab some work experience with you? I'm happy to do like a trial or something like that. And they'll go in, they'll see how valuable they are, and then they'll just bring them on in a part-time or a full-time capacity. You could even just make your own business for fun, right? Because you have to do all that marketing stuff whenever you start a business. So there's loads of ways to get your foot in the door, I guess.
Yes, definitely. I think you just have to try something out before you're full time, for sure. Yeah, definitely should go and just reach out to people and talk to them. Also, it might not always end up with some kind of job opportunity for you, but also sometimes insights from people who have been working marketing, because marketing in Australia is definitely going to be different from marketing to, say, India or anywhere in Asia. And you never know where it takes you.
And so then we're getting into the laser clinics job. I'm really curious, how did you go about getting that?
To start my career, I was very lucky. I just got a recruiter because I was talking to her for a role a while ago and it didn't go through. But I kept in contact with her and I told her that, hey, if something comes up, just please let me know. And yeah, she ended up reaching out to me about this role and it being a contract role, which is something I wasn't looking for at that point, but it ended up turning into a 1.5-year role with Laser Clinics, which is something I was really grateful for. Amazing experience. And I was doing local area marketing, working with franchisees, corporate. I was doing pretty much all kinds of marketing. And this role really gave me a very solid base of marketing, very fast paced. So yeah, it was a great role. For sure.
And it shows, again, we're seeing a trend here, and we see this trend all the time. It always comes back when you're getting these jobs, right? It comes back to people. So you've obviously built some sort of connection to this recruiter. You've kept in touch with the recruiter.
Yeah.
And she's thought, I really like this Neha person. Let's give her a shot.
Just approaching recruiters is a good way as well, because you never know what they have. And first when you contact them, they're like, oh, there's no roles. But they do reach out to you after a week or two when they have the roles. That is their whole job. So definitely should reach out recruiters on LinkedIn and just ask them hey, do you have any marketing roles for me? I have this experience. This is my resume. Can you help me? Because they definitely have those hidden jobs that are not advertised all the time, or they approach you before they even advertise the role.
I'm seeing a trend there as well. We'll see if it plays out. But I'm noticing with LinkedIn these days, basically it's like this high-powered resume.
Yeah.
I'm finding that a lot of jobs are just coming straight from recruiters. They're reaching out to people directly, picking them up. And a lot of these jobs are, like you said, they aren't advertised at all. So people are wondering, how are these guys, they're all getting these job offers. They don't realize it's all happening behind closed doors.
That definitely comes as to how I landed my current role. The person reached out to me, who was directly working with the company, and she saw my LinkedIn profile and realized that I have worked with laser clinics, and which is a decently sized company and very known in Australia. So she reached out to me. I sent her my resume, which was, again, very, very customized. My resume before was, I feel like, a bit cluttered. That was around like 2 pages. I pushed it down to like 1 page, concised everything, just put the points that I needed. And definitely that resume was something that was liked by the hiring managers. But yeah, definitely LinkedIn. My LinkedIn was definitely one of the main reasons why I landed in my current role. I got a turnaround for 1 week, which is pretty fast. I just got the right role. I got the right team. I got the right environment. I was the right candidate for it. So it went by very fast.
That's fantastic. It's nice when companies move fast.
Yes, definitely.
What do you think made you stand out from other candidates? Why did they pick you?
I actually asked this question to my team member who was present. She said that they really liked me. And I had the experience with laser clinics of working across different locations. And that's pretty much what they were looking for. Even the laser clinics was more on local level, and this is more on the national level. There's still a lot of similarities, a lot of skills that I could transfer into my current role.
What tips would you give to people watching this on how to sell yourself well in an interview, especially if you're not, I guess at first, not extremely confident about yourself and your skills?
I feel like your honesty and your passion really shows when you're talking. I feel that's what something people are looking for. Like, talent can be learned, skills can be learned. I feel like it comes down to how bad you want this role and what you can bring to the table. And one of the main things I've seen is that you just have to be passionate. Like, if you're in marketing, you need to really love marketing. You can't just walk in and then expect that someone's going to just give you a role if you're not passionate about just marketing. And I think that really showed because I love what I'm doing. So I feel like that definitely made me stand out, that I'm not going to be a robotic person. I'm going to be a person who cares, who wants to build this brand, who wants to cater to the audience, who wants to make sure that the customers have a good experience. I think that is very, very obvious once you start talking to someone in an interview. And yeah, I feel like I have also interviewed for positions that I'm not experienced enough for, but my personality seeped through.
There's a lot of job seekers out there who are struggling, and they can't get interviews, or they struggle to convert those interviews into offers. What would you say is the biggest mistake you see them making?
I feel like just not being able to sell yourself enough. Confidence, definitely. It's hard when you're new to job searching and you just feel like I'm not learned enough, and I don't think that's true. You realize when it's to start working at the job that you have learned enough. You just have to just go with it and honestly just tell them what you bring to the table and also how much you're willing to learn. I feel like also applying for jobs that you care about. I applied for jobs that I didn't care about and did not go well. I lost so much interest. And it was just horrible. It was a time waste for me and them. If you apply for 100 jobs that you don't care about, it's not going to matter unless you apply for like one job that you really, really want. Even if you don't get it, you're going to gain the experience as to what you can improve on the next interview. So yeah, it's always going to be a trial and error as to how you market yourself.
Have you seen that new Coke ad? So they have this QR code or something on the screen. They have it connected with their app. So when you scan the QR code, it opens up the Coke app on your phone, and it has this mechanism where you can pretend you're drinking a Coke from the phone, and you can redeem it at the supermarket to get a free Coke. So they're kind of getting them to interact with the advert. It's quite fascinating. You should check it out.
This is why I love marketing.
Well, Neha, I think we'll finish it up there. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the viewer?
Just keep doing what you're doing, honestly. Even though you're probably like studying, you're probably new to the country, it can be very overwhelming. You might be homesick, but just keep going, honestly. You're doing, I feel like there's always going to be someone who's in a worse position than you. So don't think that, oh, it's just me. No, there's a lot of us. And with time, you'll find your path. And just keep pushing. Yeah, because good things take a while anyway. So if it's not happening, it's not meant to be. It's probably going to have something better.
I love it. Thanks, Neha. Thanks for your time.